Welcome to Hollywood, the place where hopes and dreams go to crash and burn, and where every preachy film belly flops like a fish out of water, yo. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, because I said so. The state of Hollywood these days is just so moving, isn't it? Each new release is like watching a train wreck without the excitement or plot twists. Who can resist such cinematic gems? Apparently, everyone. I mean, who wouldn't want to spend $15 to be lectured about life choices, right?
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It is pretty. Yeah, I'm actually...
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
And let's talk about the brainiacs over at Disney. Oh wait, don't even get me started. Oh, Hollywood, how far you have fallen. Maybe next time, consider making a movie that doesn't put people to sleep. Just a thought. Isn't it just fantastic how Hollywood keeps churning out those enlightened movies that nobody asked for? These gems claim to be socially aware, sticking it to the man and flaunting their liberalism. But here's the catch. Nobody cares. In their noble quest to be hip and politically correct, Hollywood seems to have forgotten the most basic rule of making movies. Entertain your audience. They seem to believe that sticking a woke message onto a tired old story will automatically make it a hit. But surprise! Surprise, no amount of grandstanding or propaganda can save a stinker of a film. It's like putting lipstick on a pig and expecting it to be prom queen material. Nice try, Hollywood, but we're not buying what you're selling.
So, let's raise a glass to all the disastrous woke films that have flopped. May they serve as a reminder to Hollywood that audiences are not interested in their forced, self-righteous narratives. We want good storytelling, memorable characters, and enchanting worlds. We want movies that make us feel something, not movies that make us cringe at their desperate attempts to be relevant. And until Hollywood gets the memo, we'll be sitting here, waiting for the day when they finally realize that it's time to put creativity, entertainment, and storytelling back in the spotlight. Hollywood's miserable attempts to force their woke agenda onto us only result in the loss of our beloved classics, leaving us to wonder why they felt the need to fix something that wasn't broken. So, here's a little piece of advice for Hollywood. Let's keep the fairy tales enchanting, the classics untouched, and the woke agenda out of our childhood memories. After all, who needs a politically correct Snow White when we can just watch the original and live happily ever after?
Yes, the perfect recipe for a woke disaster. Speaking of Snow White reboot, it's about time we modernized this outdated fairy tale. Instead of a damsel in distress, our Snow White is now a social justice warrior armed with a feminist manifesto and a gluten-free diet. And as for those lovable dwarves, no more of those outdated names like Sleepy and Grumpy. Let's replace them with social justice warrior, virtue signaler, and gender fluid. Because who needs charming whimsy when you can have heavy-handed political messaging? And in a stunning plot twist, the evil queen is no longer just power-hungry. She's an environmental activist trying to save the forest from deforestation caused by the evil corporation she works for. What a brilliant way to veer off course from the original plot and confuse everyone in the process. After all, nothing spells box office hit quite like a fairy tale villain turned eco-warrior. Oh, the symbolism! Hollywood always knows how to keep us on the edge of our seats. Mostly because we're cringing so hard. It's a sad state of affairs when films that claim to represent a progressive movement fall flat, leaving studios nursing budgets that barely scrape by. Hollywood is floundering under the weight of its own preachy, self-righteousness, and audiences are having none of it. It's pretty clear that audiences aren't thrilled with these films, and who could blame them? We want to be entertained, not lectured to. It simply isn't feasible to sacrifice our precious downtime to watch films that are more concerned with making a political statement than they are with good storytelling. The real problem with these movies is the sheer amount of pretension involved in their creation. The director, producers, and actors all pat themselves on the back for tackling important issues while conveniently forgetting that their primary job is to entertain. It's almost as if regular people enjoy films which don't require an instruction manual to navigate. The Unpaid Intern. It's a movie that chronicles the exploits of college students who are working for free, struggling financially while holding down entry-level jobs. Now, as important as this issue may be, one really has to wonder what the point of the film is. A half-baked premise mixed with mediocre execution, The movie was sure to flop. The real kicker was that it was conceived by a studio executive who made more money in a week than most college students make in a year. In essence, it represented a blatant form of hypocrisy that audiences were quick to reject. Hey, you want to go watch a movie about people not getting paid?
No thanks, I already live that life.
These films aren't just preachy, they're boring. For all the talk of innovative filmmaking and virtuous storytelling, the films that Hollywood is churning out are one-dimensional and laughably obvious. It's difficult to believe that esteemed directors and actors are involved in their production. It begs the question, was there no one in the creation process that thought that maybe the audience didn't want to watch a political sermon? It's telling that Hollywood continues to insist that these films are revolutionary. After all, movies that vilify capitalism and the establishment have been around for decades. The difference now is that these films are incredibly lazy. They're banking on the audience's liberal bent and aiming squarely for the low-hanging fruit of praise and adoration from social justice warriors. But the audience remains unconvinced, and rightly so. The books might sell, but that doesn't mean that the movies will. There's only so much that even the most liberal-minded viewer can endure before they tune out and look for something that is entertaining. The agenda-centric movies that they're churning out are woefully misguided, more akin to a lecture than a film. Filmmakers must remember that audiences aren't waiting with bated breath for the next woke film that we expect to entertain. Until that fundamental understanding is grasped and unrealized arrogance is replaced with humility and imagination, these films will continue to fail and audiences will continue to refuse to drink the progressive Kool-Aid. As they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.